This is the limestone lowdown. Hear the sound when you lie through the issues all around. From every corner, let's make it clear. The change we need is starting here.
Hi everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Limestone Lowdown, and welcome. We took some time off, so welcome to the new year. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all of that good stuff. So we're ready, rested and ready to hit the ground running for this brand new year.
It's going to be a good year. We've got a big year for 2026
Yeah,
coming
lots
up.
of elections,
Yeah.
lots of things going on. So it's going to get pretty. It's already started to get interesting. And I guess it's going to get more interesting.
Yeah. So 2026, we've got primaries for May 19th for the state. So we've got governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state. Attorney General.
Yep.
We have a Senate seat.
Yep.
State auditor. There's another one.
Agriculture.
Oh yeah.
Commissioner of Agriculture.
Yeah.
And then we start diving into the more local stuff.
Yeah. We've got reps, like Danny Crawford's seat is up.
Yeah.
And then we've got, the locals. So we have our county commission chair is up. And Johnny Turner, he's District 1. He has announced that he is going to, or he's District 2. He has announced he is going to run again for the chairman position against Colin Daly. So that's going to be interesting.
Yes, it is.
Because they appeared to be good friends about a year ago.
Kind of in lockstep.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
I know. It's interesting the drama that unfolds with men. They always say women are a lot of drama, but
oh my god.
but it's going to be interesting to see who endorses who donates to which campaign. Considering that Johnny's only been in his slot for a year. Now, he does have a lot of political connections and things on his resume. I like him. Very nice. I think he's gotten a lot done in the last year.
That's not an endorsement.
No,
I'm just saying.
That's not an endorsement for Johnny or Colin.
Understand when we talk about somebody, it's not an endorsement or against whatever it seems to be.
Colin is a very nice man. It's just going to be interesting to follow who's going to endorse who and who is going to donate to which. Because, again, a short year ago, they were, like you said, very close, buddy, lockstep, in a lot of decisions that were made. And so it's just going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And
I say, moving forward, I mean, we're going to talk about both of them.
Yeah, we've got...
And so it's not a... You're not going to know who we support... Or we may not support either one of them, quite frankly.
For the purposes of this, it's more just going to be like informational, the things that we know, the things that we have found out about both of them. And so, it's not an endorsement or not endorsement of either one.
As always, make your own decision and do your own research.
Yes.
That's all we ask.
And then we've got District 1, Mr. Daryl Salmon, he passed away from liver cancer, and they are
in December. So
was it December or November? Yeah, it was sometime recently.
1st of December. Yeah.
His slot is going to be appointed since the primaries are in May, and then the election is in November. And whoever will take over next January, they are just going to have the governor to appoint someone. So they are taking, I guess, resumes. So that was like another thing. Like, there was no clear, like, hey, if you're interested in doing this, you need to submit your resume or application or however. Like, there was no clear way to do it.
It wasn't announced.
It wasn't announced, yeah.
You had to know or you had to seek to find out.
You had to know, have the connections with the right people to know what to do. Or, with these things within the city, it appears that they almost like seek someone out and say, hey, you should do this. And I think that that's even happened with some of our commission positions too. They've sought them out, and so it's almost, I don't want to say hush hush, but there's no clear way on putting an application in. So anyway, so
there's like 5 or 6 that's in the running for it.
Yeah, I've heard of like at least 4 or 5 that have actually supposedly put their name in. I think there's one candidate that has actually started putting signs out up in Elkmont. So District 1's kind of the Elkmont area. So yeah, it's just another thing that's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on and see again who endorses who donates to who shows up to whose events. It's going to get interesting. And then we've got District 3, Derek Gatlin. His seat is up for re-election too. So
the Tanner area out that way.
Where Grayson Carter, the asphalt plant, and Belmina, that's all his district. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year here locally and at the state level, because it's almost like, I mean, it's when it's like, oh, it's such a small world. It really is, because you see there are people here locally that have connections at like the bigger thing, and it's like, oh, well, that makes sense as to why they have been able to do what they've done, or what X, Y, Z.
Get away with stuff.
Yeah. So just follow along. We've got a lot of interesting stuff coming up in 2026.
Well, I guess that's part of the reason that they don't like us, is they're not quite getting away with it as well as they were before, because we're talking about it.
Well, I think that they're still getting away with it. It's just we're bringing light to it.
And they don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to push the limits. Like, they're going to continue to just do what they do. And they're just, it's kind of just been a bringing light to it. But hopefully we're able to change how things are done. But we'll see.
I got some things in the works.
Yeah.
Always.
So
just keep swimming.
We are going to cover the last city council meeting of the year, which was
December the 22nd.
And we've said this for a while now, that they always try to slide stuff in on these last jam-packed full of stuff.
It was the one before Thanksgiving.
Christmas. Yeah, the one before Thanksgiving.
Before this, and it was the same thing last year too.
So
let's dive right in.
Yep. So it wasn't too there was a lot of information in here, but it wasn't like terribly long. The meeting lasted forever because there was some stuff on the planning commission. Again, I think that our Erin Tidwell, she spoke like 20 minutes on one thing, and anyways,
people's eyes were like,
well,
it was just, I get that it has to happen, but I don't know if it has to happen quite so in detail. It's like they went over in detail in that. They would go over she goes over in detail about stuff, and then stuff on the agenda, you get nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, and we still vote for it, so it's like, yeah, could you not just do the Cliff Notes? Because that's all they normally do. Not really, just kidding. If you're listening, Erin, I don't mean that any kind of... It was just...
No harm to you.
There was like 50 people there.
We'll get into that. Why?
But it was, again, it was the one 3 days before Christmas, and it was jam-packed. So we had a public hearing relating to proposed resolution fixing and assessing costs associated with the demolition and abatement of an unsafe structure at 608 West Market Street. That was a house that was tore down in the medical district, about 6 months ago or something? Mm-hmm. So
it was $12,000.
Yep. Public hearing related to the proposed resolution is to determine that a structure on North Clinton Street is unsafe and a public nuisance, and ordering abatement of the same. That's also another one that we've talked about. Mm-hmm. That's over by Athens State.
The train tracks.
The train tracks, yep.
And it was $30,000.
So it's a big, they had found, we talked about this, I think, in one of the last ones, that there was they found homeless people in there, right?
There's no homeless in Athens. Remember.
Right. I mean,
but yes.
Okay.
It was an old abandoned building, basically across from the railroad, or same side as the railroad tracks, with those silos, and it looked bad before last year. Matter of fact, last year at this time is when that tornado came through, and that's what kind of ended it.
Yeah.
And it fell over, and the building took some more damage. Mm-hmm. But yes, it was basically like a homeless camp, and they had to run them out first.
Yeah. So, Public hearing related to an ordinance amending the Athens zoning ordinance. That's the food court.
Ooh, yes. And we've heard all about that. Now we can get the food trucks. They said, as Shane Black said, the loosening of the restrictions. I guess it was very restricted before. So now I guess you'll start seeing food trucks kind of everywhere in Athens.
Yeah.
But I mean, regulated. I don't mean like non-regulated. But
Are they going
just
to have like an area for them?
they're going to have an area too. But my understanding is if a business approves them being there, they can be there. Like someplace on 72, if they have a large enough parking lot.
Like the Doomsday stuff, like they could
like
have.
Doomsday. But I'm talking about more in the city too. If a business that's not food related wanted to bring in,
like the schools, like if the schools wanted to.
Yes, school. But I'm saying also to sell to the public. More like your, like insurance agent or something like that. Businesses like that, a jewelry store, etc.
Or the city wanted to have a food truck that day.
Or the city wanted to do
for the,
something.
treat their employees.
Whatever.
Because I know that out on the Arsenal, like during COVID, they did away a lot with like the cafeteria stuff, and so now they set up food trucks every day of the week. There's usually we have a food trucks.
I guess what they were worried about initially was the food trucks would be battling the regular food establishments or whatever, but I guess since the population has grown so much, they're not quite so worried about that anymore.
Yeah.
So
that's good things, and we've got lots of great food and food trucks that are here.
Absolutely.
So I know that's one of the things when we for the Fridays after 5 we always go, and that's sometimes we don't even stay for the music because it gets so crowded, but we'll go down and eat at the food trucks.
Yep.
Ordinance amending the Athens zoning ordinance. This is where she talked so much. So it was one of those things that says, hey, they changed it, or they're going to change it, and I think that they even moved it to the next meeting.
Some of it, yes.
Yeah. Public hearing related to the zoning approval for the sale of alcohol at the city of Athens. That is Jiffy 2 on Hobbs Street. It's a new business. So those we had 5 public hearings. So now we go into the regular meetings. So resolution to approve travel education expenses for personnel of the Water Services Department in the amount of $108.82. And I read that all the way through because that goes into the next one. Resolution to approve expenses for Councilman Chris Seibert in the amount of $650.40.
That's all it says.
So, just like I read before, travel education expenses for personnel of the Water Services Department. We don't even have anything, so I could only assume that it was for his Leadership Alabama crap that he was supposedly selected for and not nominated at all by Ronnie Marks.
Yeah.
And so that was something that I did ask in my comments.
But, I'm just going to say again, it's an affront to every citizen of Athens that he's going to this. And not only getting to go to it, but that we're paying for it.
That we're paying for it. Because if we're going to pay every quarter for him to go stay at a hotel or whatever his expenses are, this is going to end up probably being
$5,000-$6,000.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of it, is that a lot of money? No, but it's a real slap in the face.
It's supposed to be an honor, and it should have gone to somebody honorable, not somebody that has cheated the city of Athens, that has spit in their face doing business with no business license.
Well,
continually working on houses with no permits, etc. It's like a continuous cycle.
He is literally only doing this for personal gain.
Yeah.
He is only using his position for him and, I guess, colleagues, friends, for their personal gain, because they know what the city's doing. They know when it's going to be passed. They know when it's going to be put on the agenda. So they're able to set themselves up. And at the end of the day, it's probably true that Alabama is one of the top most corrupt states that there is, because it's always been the good old boy network. People get so mad at that term, but this goes back nearly 100 years that this is what Alabama has done. It's a constant cycle of the good old boy network. You can look, even looking back at Senator Katie Britt, like how she got her position, right? And how they had to find somebody that was able to accept that PAC money from Richard Shelby. So, and then she has been in the news so much, not to digress from this, but whether you're Democrat, Republican, don't support Katie Britt, I just find it funny that with the government shutdown and the budget, that it was like she has been in the news like nonstop. Like, what are we planning for her? Like, is she gonna be after Tuberville? Like, are they trying to set her up to be the next governor? Like, there's something in the works with her. And oh, by the way, Katie Britt's husband is also in Leadership Alabama with Chris Seibert. So anyways, as I digress, but it just kind of shows like this is, it's not uncommon, but it's definitely has a morality clause there, right? That that there is some sort of conflict on these positions are very low paying. They are a public service, not to enrich yourself, not a service to yourself.
And then there's the whole, cannabis angle that we'll go into more later too. It just keeps going. It's not like it's just one thing.
Yeah.
It is so multi-layered and everything else. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
just get out.
They're
then we couldn't say anything about you.
Yeah.
But as long as you're in that position, we have every right to come after you and point out everything you do.
I mean, honestly, like we've, as people have talked to us about it, I mean, they've said that that the mayor of Huntsville has got just as many irons in the fire in Huntsville, if not more. But again, I don't think that people are asking questions, and somebody wanted me to start looking into that, and I was like, I do not live in Huntsville.
That doesn't affect us. What he does affects us in this city, and it's kind of like, I can't do anything about the nation, but I can do something about local.
Yeah.
So by God, that is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So anyways, off that soapbox, resolution to approve an FY25 budget amendment, capital expenditure fund, department capital request, in the amount of $2 million.
I think is that not part of that where they have the leftover and then they come back and disperse it, like we're going to give an additional $200,000 to et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so they did this last year too, and basically what the city clerk said was that all the departments are getting their wants together so that they can issue.
It's called Christmas in January.
Yeah,
because you get a little extra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which is fine and good, and
Yeah. And they are still waiting on that. They're basically just saying that approving that we're going to do this. I think in a later meeting they will actually approve the list of who gets what.
Yeah. Well, the budget heads are calculating. Hey, I could use this. I could need it.
Yeah.
So
resolution concerning the 2025-2026 municipal appropriations for various governmental agencies and purposes.
Kind of along that same line. Yeah.
Resolution concerning a 2025-2026 municipal appropriations contract and third-party non-governmental entities. Along the same lines. Resolution authorizing the Water Services Department Director to enter into a contract with Krebs Engineering for the design of the Athens Water Treatment Plant electrical and finished water plumbing improvements, and unbudgeted capital amount of $615 to be funded from the Water Services Department. Mm-hmm.
Where's the bid? Where does it say anything about bidding or anything else like that? I don't see that whatsoever. I know they've done a lot of business within the city of Athens, and we've never checked up on that, but I don't see anywhere where we bid this out.
Yeah.
So, just a question. That's $615,000. Definitely should have been bid out.
And nobody is saying they should or shouldn't get it. It's just one of those things that, like, state bid law states that anything over a certain amount has to be
competitively bid out.
Yeah. And so when we ask these questions, it's not saying that it should or shouldn't or tell them how to spend their money. It's like, we just want to make sure that we're following.
And then it's
law.
got to a point where if we ask for that, they're going to want like $150 to give us the bid packet for that.
Just to see. Well, and then it'll be one piece of paper, because we recently got an email saying that they didn't bid out something, and so it's just getting it's getting comical at this point, that they're
Because if we don't bid it out, guys, it is actual bid
It's
fraud.
considered.
Yeah, that's a state
yeah.
violation. So just keep FYI.
Resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Wolfco Media for 1 year at a cost of $2,500 per month for a total of $30,000 to be funded from the FY26 operating budget for digital marketing.
And see, I think that digital marketing is new as well. See, I kind of got a problem with this too, because I know what some of you are going to say. Do you have a problem with everything? I don't. But this is very shady how we've used this. It was used before the election, kind of like look how great Ronnie Marks is. And then we want to, like, how great the city is. The city is great, but not everybody in the city is great within that. And it just seemed like this was, like, kind of blurred the lines between, making him almost using this as his campaign platform to make himself look great versus making the city look great.
Well, he did. He did pay them to do. I think it was like 1 month. I think last year it was like $2,250 a month. I think it was $28,000. I could be wrong. It could be the same amount, but I think it's increased a little bit. And not that that's a problem, but I think other candidates had even asked them to do some stuff, and they were told that they couldn't. So Ronnie Barks did use them, and he did pay them for 1 month, like the same amount that for 1 month's worth of work. So.
And then their headquarters where they're headquartered at is owned by a very heavy donor of Ronnie Marks as well.
Oh,
so it's just back to that entanglement, and it just doesn't look. I'm not saying anything's illegal about it, but just the looks of it, it's just like all.
It just ties it all together.
Yep.
It makes you realize like who support to and why did that person get that contract? Why were they not allowed to help other people, other candidates in the race? And yeah, like you're saying, like the landlord of the person that owns that building, they have a huge Ronnie Marks sign at Fridays After 5. So,
and their father-in-law gave thousands of dollars to his campaign.
Yeah, so
like the majority of his budget.
Yeah, so very interesting. Just again, not saying that it's illegal. It's just very interesting.
Just know who controls your politicians.
Yes, exactly. I think that's the biggest thing is like knowing who controls it, who's controlling that narrative. At the end of the day, I think Ronnie Marks is the puppet. I think that there's bigger people that are actually pulling the strings.
He didn't want to run again. He was forced to run again. Because,
resolution approving, and we're not, that's our assumption is that he was kindly asked to run again. Resolution approving an economic development project relating to NRE Swan Creek LLC. And that's literally all it says. Again, like no information, nothing. This was an item that was in the newspaper. Again, it goes back to the Athens News Courier.
Let's talk about that for a second. So what was the date that came out in the paper?
Was it like December 10th or something?
The 13th.
The 13th.
Yeah. And when did it get out to the public?
Oh, like the day before the meeting.
And who found it?
We did.
Exactly. So this paper that's supposed to be the record of the city is not even published in this county anymore. It comes from Coleman. It's sat in that paper for almost, what would that be?
10 days.
Almost 10 days, and nobody even noticed it. Oh, guys, we're getting a Hobby Lobby.
It's buried deep in the classifieds. It's not even like on the front page. Again, it even says this is like the best way to get to the public. It's like, no, everything is like digital media. So why doesn't the city post it on their public relations page and say, hey,
exactly,
this is da-da-da-da-da? People would have been so excited about, people are excited about a Hobby Lobby. So this NRE Swan Creek is going to be the same setup as the TJ Maxx. I think it's 4 out of 5. The TJ Maxx was 4 out of 5 anchor stores. And, we were supposed to get Old Navy. We got a Ross instead.
Not the same.
We still paid the developer over $6 million for that development, because they did check a box to get 4 out of 5 anchor stores. So it's going to be the same developer. which is, I think it's like part of New Athens. It's a different LLC name, which is Ming Enterprises. And it is how much of a
$7.4 million.
$7.4 million incentive that's going to be reimbursed on, like, the tax revenue.
So let's talk about that for a second. And it was $8 million, not $6 million for TJ Maxx.
I think it was only 6, but we won't argue. It's fine.
Okay.
Semantics.
So $7.4 million. So let's break that down a second. So that's taxed in arrears. Okay, so that means that the city of Athens sales tax is 9%. Some of it goes to county, some of it goes to state, and 3 cents go to the city. Of that 3 cents, at least half of it, it's really 1.7%, goes to the schools, which cannot be abated. So really, you're only talking about what is that?
No, not a lot.
Just a little over a cent. That's
Well,
actually every dollar.
This one is up to 12 years.
So what I'm saying by that, I just want to break these simple numbers down. So think about it. So at barely over a cent of every dollar that comes in, it's going to take a long time to recoup $7.4 million. That's simple math, okay? And think about, you got that one. You got $900,000 for Texas Roadhouse, $600,000 for the Olive Garden, $6 or $8 million for the TJ Maxx, and that's just the ones I can remember off my head. Oh, wait a minute, no, Food City, the new Publix. So you're talking about probably close to 20-something million dollars that we're having to get back 1 cent at a time. It's going to take a long time, and the sad fact of it is it's going to the developer. It is not going to said business to bring them here. They want to be here. So our question, we're going to hammer this home going into this new year, is why are we paying the middleman? And I know some people are going to say, well, he's taking all the risk. I assure you, he probably has leases already signed. Is he building a building? Yes, he's building a building, and he's going to get not only this money from the city, but he's going to get rent money as well. Mm-hmm. And if they weren't coming here, somebody else would. So please don't feel sorry, all this upfront cost.
For TJ Maxx, we did over $1 million in road improvements. We put the light there. There's a lot of costs that the city.
Well, did we do Brawley Boulevard knowing that this was coming?
There probably.
Well, look at that. So that's over $1 million right there.
Yeah. So these are all setups, and these city council meetings are just the rubber stamp to say, hey, we get it. The developer is taking on all the risk by building it. He's got to go out and find the businesses, and he works to deal with the businesses on the financial end, not the city. But yeah, so this one is up to 12 years. So basically, if they have 12 years to pay it back. I think TJ Maxx was like five years, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit longer. Same thing with Olive Garden development too. But like Buc-ee's has already paid back because Buc-ee's was actually done with the company. And Buc-ee's fronting the money to start with. Yeah, they did the sewage.
Instead of the opposite way.
Yeah, they did the sewage stuff over there and basically said, if we do this, you give us that in incentive. Mm-hmm. And then, so that was paid back probably, obviously we're going to make millions on Buc-ee's, but that deal was a legitimate deal. They invested here, and then we basically gave them what they invested, and then on top of that, they're giving like $30,000 a year for 20 years, I think, to the schools or something like that. So that was a really good deal. So yeah, it's like we see the point in it, but for like $7.4 million. So anyways, that was just, and again, buried deep in the classifieds. Like, it needs to go digital.
I don't think anybody's talked about that. I just want you guys to know 1 cent of every dollar is actually going, a little over 1 cent is actually coming back to the city as far as what they can abate and what they're going into the revenues of the city. And that takes a long time to recover all these millions. And then the thing about that is, by the time we've paid off one, we've replaced it with two.
And then it's like, who in this city do these developers just bring it to the mayor and say, hey, does this sound good? Like, do we actually have a division who is working on this? I mean, I know that we're, in comparison to Huntsville, we are like a tenth of the size that they are, but I don't know. It's just kind of like who brought this to the table and thought this was going to be a good idea. Again, this was buried deep in the
Ronnie
classifieds.
Mark said that the developer brought it to the city. He said that.
I don't mean, but it's like who in the city? Who in the city is making that decision? Is it the CEO of our city? Do we have a department that is like the business development part of? Do you see what I'm saying?
I got you.
And so yeah, I mean it's just interesting to see again when you start looking at campaign donations, developers, things like that, you start seeing who your power players are and who actually is, or who, my opinion, who is actually pulling those strings and making the decisions. So that was, for it to be buried so deep in the classifieds, and then for a typical city council meeting, maybe to have 5 people at best. These are just, but of course, as soon as the meeting is over, before the meeting's even over, because Jared and I had to leave early, the meeting was still going on, and we had to go to a family Christmas get together, and they had already shared it, like, oh, Hobby Lobby's coming, and they do put the details in there that we're paying the developer X amount of dollars, but what people hear is Academy and Hobby Lobby.
and let's remind you, Academy's not guaranteed. Only Hobby Lobby's guaranteed. So hopefully Academy's not like Old Navy. Mm-hmm. And remember, Old Navy Hobby Lobby was supposed to come in a different location, mm-hmm. and that got canned. So it's like, that got leaked during the election?
Yeah. Did that developer? Was it a developer like pissing contest?
Somebody else?
Yeah.
Because I mean, all we got to do is look behind Slim Chicken. There's still a whole complex,
and there was supposed to at least
buildings.
Supposed to be a liquor store, because remember they changed
the ordinance,
the liquor ordinance for that strip of buildings. Yep. So, anyways, it's just kind of putting 2 and 2 together, things that make you go,
You talked. So tell them what you talked about. You talked. Obviously, we talked about ask about Leadership Alabama.
Yes.
And the real thing you ask about is you ask who about the developer, and they confirmed it was the same developer as TJ Maxx. And yes. It's going to be done exactly the same way. Whatever. You also asked about the business license.
Yes. So the NRA Swan Creek LLC at the state level got a state business license in September, and here in December, now they're going to be doing business with the city. And so it's almost like, I don't know, I ask about the business license, that there's not one at the city level, and they're like, well, they wouldn't have to have one because they're not doing business yet. But they did confirm that the one that did TJ Maxx did have a business license in the city when they did the TJ Maxx. I don't know, just kind of the other stuff that I've been under, like it's almost like if it is under an umbrella, that if it falls under the main developers LLC, and you say this like business licenses, like who cares, like what do you care so much about, but that's a way for following the money, like for you to be able to keep up with certain things and seeing who's getting paid. So they kind of I guess I don't want to use the word stammered around, but you could tell that they were annoyed that I would ask, almost like making it that I was stupid for even asking. Like of course they're gonna have business licenses when this. Well,
you don't know. There's some other people that didn't have them.
So I did ask about that because it's registered to a law firm out of Montgomery, and somehow it's tied to Tennessee too. So yeah, there was lots of.
And then the pool. The big thing was the pool. The last thing.
So then our next item is, let's see here. Ordinance authorizing the lease of certain real property along 7 Mile Post Road for agriculture. So that was jointly owned with the county,
yes,
and they took the
transfer station.
They took the highest bidder
to
on that.
Hobbs Farms for 5 years. So, of course, they didn't tell us how much it was.
Yeah,
and
then there was an add-on item, and it was consulting about a pool, the development of a pool, and having somebody come in and, I guess a place to have it, and
preliminary work.
Yeah. And it was going to be how much? Like 30 something $1,000. And
but the more interesting, I think we should end with that. The more interesting thing is you got a text about that Thursday night, didn't you?
So this is, again, it's in going back over, agendas over the last like 5+ years, when you're looking for something specific, about 50% of the time, these end up being either during a holiday time where people are out of town, not there, or it's an add-on item. So it's kind of snuck in under the radar. And it's like there was stuff that happened last year, stuff that happened the year before. There's been several years where it's like, oh, we have this add-on item, but yet somehow the people knew that this pool was going to be an add-on item. And so there was probably, like 50 people there. Again, I'm not saying that I'm against the pool. I'm actually for it. I fully support it. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great investment. I think that it will be a great campaign item to discuss when the next elections come out, and I think that, I don't think that they were going to find a place, but I do think that they are going to make that happen now. But I just found it interesting that typically the agendas for these city council meetings come out Friday, like 4:00. This particular one came out Thursday afternoon, but I got a text at like 6:00 Thursday night saying, hey, there's gonna be an item on the agenda Monday that the mayor is going to allow for the development, like the preliminary work for the pool. Please come out, blah blah blah. And I was looking at the agenda. I was like, I don't even know which agenda item this would be. And Jared and I were like, this is going to be an add-on item. And again, my question was, how much are we paying, and who are we contracting it to? And the mayor was like, well, it's very self-explanatory. But when they read it during the business meeting, they didn't read the resolution. They just said preliminary work for the pool. And they did acknowledge that this is going to make everybody happy and excited about it. And it's just one of those things like, yeah, this is great and wonderful. Just read it appropriately during the business meeting. That way I wouldn't have even had to ask. But then I asked, why was it an add-on item? And the mayor's like, well, we got it back late Friday. No, you didn't, because I knew Thursday by 6:00 that it was going to be on there.
Before the agenda was even released.
No, the agenda was already out.
I'm talking about are you sure it was out?
Mm-hmm. Because I went and double checked.
Okay.
Yep. So, because normally it comes out on Friday, but this particular one they put out on Thursday. And then by Thursday at 6:00, just a few hours later, I get a text that's like, hey, it's going to be on the agenda.
So it seems to me we have a lot of loose information coming out of City Hall, as well as people knew about this agenda item after the fact. You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of been an ongoing issue. So
well, we know who it's traced back to.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was the end of the agenda. Then we went into Christmas and New Year's, and again, thanks everybody for.
And we took a break.
Yeah, we did. We took about almost a month break, just kind of spending time with family, catching up on other things. We've got public records requests at the city, state, and all kinds of levels. We've got meetings scheduled, phone calls. It's going to be a busy year, and we hope that you guys continue to stick around, and thanks so much.
All we ask is you keep your fork, because the best is yet to come.
So thanks for listening, guys. So till next time.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Limestone Lowdown, where we break down the issues, keep you informed, and give you facts straight from the source. Remember, your voice matters. Your vote counts, and your community thrives when we stay engaged. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay involved. Until next time, keep questioning, keep advocating, and keep shaping the future of the Limestone area. We'll see you on the next Limestone Lowdown.